Hi, my name is Lacey, and today I will be showing you how to make an old fashioned. So from my experience, really anyone can mix a drink, but it does take knowledge of your ingredients and the way that they interact with each other to really craft a cocktail that is enjoyable and correct. So today I will be attempting to show you how to do that. To craft your old fashioned, you need your bar tools, your ingredients, and your garnishes. Our first bar tool is going to be our jigger. Jigger is a measuring device used to measure out ingredients. On this one, I've got the 1/2 ounce, 1/4 ounce, and 1.5 ounce mark, as well as the 1, 2, and 3 ounce marks on mine. They do come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, so to each their own. Next up, we have our bar spoon. This is going to be a spoon with an elongated stem and a twisted shaft. This is used for stirring and layering the ingredients of your cocktail. We have the Hawthorne strainer, or more traditionally, the 4-prong strainer. This is just used to place over the mixing glass and strain your ingredients into the serving glass. Our mixing glass is used to combine all of our ingredients and then transfer them to the serving glass. And then our serving glass, traditionally for an old fashioned, is going to be a short cylindrical glass. To each their own. You really can use anything, although you probably look a little silly drinking an old fashioned out of a pint glass, but who knows, maybe you'll start a trend. Last but not least, we have our zesting knife, which is going to have a flat edge, a serrated edge, and a garnish pick. This really helps with getting the peel off of the orange without contributing any juice. You can also use a fruit peeler, and I find the garnish pick helpful in getting the garnishes out of jars or containers. Our first ingredient is going to be our rye whiskey. I have Bulleit Rye. It is my favorite. A rye whiskey will traditionally have a 51% or more rye mash, which is what the bourbon is, the bourbon or whiskey is made out of. It has a slight fruity and a slight spice to it, as well as being less sweet than a bourbon would be. We have our Angostura bitters, which are the bitters that are traditionally used in bourbon cocktails. They are a dark aromatic bitters. And then we have our simple syrup. This is going to be a sugar-water combination, usually in a 1-to-3 ratio. You do want it mixed all the way through and slightly viscous, but you don't want it super thick or watered down, as it will disrupt the consistency of the final cocktail. We have our regular cubed ice. This is going to be used for mixing and or serving if you don't have a whiskey block or sphere. I do have a whiskey sphere. So this is the mold it comes in. I'm going to pour it in here. Hopefully it doesn't leak. Well, it leaked a little bit, but that's fine. This is what it looks like. So it's just a sphere of ice used in bourbon cocktails to help with the slow melt of the ice and to not water down the drink as a cubed ice or a smaller ice can do. Then we have our garnish. This is a Bordeaux cherry. Traditionally, a Luxardo cherry is used because they tend to be a little bit sweeter and do contribute to the overall flavor, but a Bordeaux or even a maraschino cherry is fine. And then we have our orange. As you can see, it's been used a little. With the orange, you really want to make sure that you're using only the peel. A full slice will contribute too much juice to the cocktail and throw off the flavor, whereas just the zest of it really won't add enough of the oils and the citrus to the cocktail to really make a difference. So now that you've been introduced to your tools and your ingredients and the garnishes, we are going to craft our cocktail. So you're going to start with filling your mixing glass halfway up with ice. Leaving a couple of cubes if you don't have a whiskey block or sphere for serving. Pardon me. You are then going to take your Angostura bitters and season your ice with 2 to 3 dashes. Here we go, just 3 little dashes. You don't want to over season your ice because that will really contribute to a very bitter and unpalatable cocktail. So next, you want to take your jigger and your simple syrup, and you want to measure out 0.75 or 3/4 of an ounce of your simple syrup in your jigger and pour it over your ice in your mixing glass. And then last but not least, we're going to take our rye whiskey. We're going to measure out 1.5 ounces and pour that into our glass over our ice as well. And I do always recommend that you pour your whiskey last, really just to avoid ruining the cocktail if you have a mismeasurement on any of your bitters or simple syrup. That way you don't have to start over. So now we're going to take our bar spoon. And the best way to stir this cocktail is just placing your bar spoon into the glass and tracing the edge of the spoon along the glass. So we're going to do that. We're going to drop it down into our glass, and 20 revolutions. This ensures that the ingredients are all well mixed, but not watered down. So we're going to remove our bar spoon and allow our cocktail to rest while we prepare our serving glass. So with the serving glass, you're going to start off with your ice, either your 2 to 3 cubes of regular ice or your sphere. So we've got that in there. You guys can see it just kind of hangs out. We are then going to take our zesting knife and peel a small section of our orange. There we go. So as you can see, have our small section of our peel. You're then going to take either the peel or the freshly cut orange, it really doesn't matter, and you're just going to rim the lip of the glass with the orange to deposit some of the citrus oils onto the glass. This really does help with the overall flavor of the cocktail and the interaction between the oil, the cocktail, and then the palate when you consume your cocktail. So next we're going to take our peel. We're going to twist it into just a small cylinder. If you feel like it kind of sticky, that's the oil, that's good. That's what's going to interact with the cocktail. So we're going to twist our peel into a small cylinder and just place it right in the glass. Next we're going to place our cherry. This is what the garnish pick is good for. Just get a cherry right out of there without having to worry about getting another spoon or putting my fingers in the jar. So this one doesn't have a stem. You do want to remove the stem if you have one, and you're just going to place it right in there. So that is your garnish. You can get fancy with the garnishes if you'd like, totally up to you, just as long as the orange and the cherry are in the glass. When you pour the cocktail, it really allows the cocktail to wash them and really open up all of the oils and aromas that they have to contribute to the cocktail. So now that your garnish is in your glass and your serving glass has been prepared, you are just going to place your 4-prong Hawthorne strainer over your serving glass and strain, over your mixing glass, and then strain into your serving glass. And that is that. Now you have a beautiful and perfectly crafted old fashioned. Cheers.